Perfect. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Village Guy. Of course, some of you have seen that I'm chatting to Tammy-Anne. And basically what we do on The Village Guy, we just chat to people from Paarl doing amazing things, following their dreams, following their passions, working hard, hustling hard. And I just think there are a lot of lessons to learn from these people because, I mean, some of them are your neighbors and live in the same area. So I'm sure there's a few valuable lessons you can learn from them. So I'm talking to Tammy-Anne. Those of you that don't know Tammy-Anne, which I doubt there are a few. Um, she is a TV actress. She was a presenter for a very long time. We saw on our screens for all access for a very long time. She's also now turned to a award-winning filmmaker, actress, and award-winning filmmaker and a producer. And I wanted to find out more about Tammy-Anne. I wanted to find out what's happening, what is she doing in Los Angeles. So Tammy-Anne, how are you?
I am very well, Miles.
Okay,
Thanks
cool.
for having me.
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, before we even start, it must be interesting times living in America currently now.
It is. It's historic times, I believe, and I mean, the atmosphere over here. In a week, so much has happened. I mean, last weekend I was having a chat to another journalist, and I was just explaining to her about just how everything was erratic, and the first of the protests had started, and right now this week we've seen so many changes over here. The protests have been mostly peaceful, apart from a few incidents here and there. I've been able to go. I've been there. I've attended several ones in LA, and it was just it's heartwarming to see so many people be they're done with this type of injustice, and I think it's a beautiful change happening out of a horrific circumstance. So let's not undermine that or try to shy away from it, because I really wish it had never happened. But yeah, I think I'm excited, and I'm hopeful for the future. I think the youth, the American youth, I mean, they're just amazing. They're coming out in numbers, and they're speaking up, and they're making their voice heard, and that's wonderful to see.
And I think what I'm seeing also, I just like the diversity about it. It's not just one race doing it.
I tell you, I get goosebumps. I really do get goosebumps. I think that is the beautiful thing. Apart from all the criticism it has received, I was standing in a crowd yesterday, and I was hearing one of the lead protesters. It was so peaceful, it was so calm, and was so powerful. Down in West Hollywood, somebody got angry and started screaming at the National Guard that was right in front of us. And this guy said it was this white guy yelling about. He was just yelling at them. He was angry, and the black protester came over to me and said, "No, we want peace. We want peace. We want solutions. We want action. We don't want any of that." It's beautiful to see, man. It's beautiful to see people coming out in numbers, people honking their horns in support of the protesters. Yesterday we walked 4 miles, so it was great. It's great. I'm not celebrating it. Let's just look. Nobody wants to protest. You're protesting against something, right? Let's just be clear on that. It's not Coachella, but it's important. The work they're doing is important. So
and I'm sure it's going to come down in history as probably something happened in America on this day when these protests happened. So, madam, tell us a bit about your journey. So 2002, most of you know that Tammy was Miss Runner-Up for Miss SA. And from that, it looks like everything catapulted from there to TV, to actress, to filmmaking, to producing. Give us that journey, 2002, all the way to Los Angeles.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Like I'm trying to recall, we're talking about like 18 years ago. Woo, look. That's how long it's been. It like blew my brain when I thought about it, because when you said, okay, we're going to discuss everything, I was like, That's a long time. I was obviously born and raised in Paarl. Very proud of that. I'd been modeling for quite some time before I did Miss South Africa. I was studying at the time. I was always involved with various NGOs like Reach for a Dream, Auntie Cynthia Slingers, all of her work that I did for SOS. And I kind of wanted, it was important for me to make sure that whatever I was doing with my career would also align with my beliefs and with the causes that I wanted to support. And I suppose that's how I got into the Miss South Africa realm with Miss Cape Peninsula in the Western Cape and all of that. I was 14 when I was scouted at the waterfront with my mom. Who's always been, I was always saying she's the designated driver. That's because you're living in Paarl. You you go to school there. All my extramural activities were there. And then I would have to go and drive all the way to Cape Town to go and do my auditions there. And that's basically how it worked until I could do it myself. And Miss South Africa came and it went. And it was a fantastic experience at the time. It was a great opportunity for me because it kind of like launched a career. I landed Sports Illustrated after that. I was able to travel. I was able to work for different publications. It was great. I never viewed modeling as a career path that I wanted to, always sustain, or I wanted to be there or stay there. It was kind of like by default. It was something you do like ballet or drummies or whatever. It was an activity. And it was also a foundation. It allowed me to fund so many of my other dreams and so many of the other things I wanted to do. So, I'm grateful for that. And after the modeling stints, people become aware of you and all of that. I got called for an audition for a cake net show called Roer. And that was it. We stayed on air for 7-8 years with that. And I kind of like joined the family with the production house that I worked with. And those led to different shows and things like that. And yeah, that was it back home. I did feel though that I wanted to pursue film, seriously pursue it. It felt like a natural progression and an extension of, and because my young adulthood was just working, pushing, grinding, making your money. There's certain opportunities that only come at a certain point in your life. And that also didn't allow me to maybe go and finish my degree or focus on other things, because there was just that window. And so I really, really wanted to do that. I felt like it was important that I studied in a direction that I really feel passionate about. I was also one of those people, like, I don't really know. Like, when I graduated, I went into the legal direction because it was like, okay, so what am I going to do now? Okay, I'll just do this, It wasn't like it was this amazing dream that I've always wanted to, be a lawyer or anything like that. It kind of just happened. And I felt like this was the first time when I decided to pack up and move to the States that I'd made a decision for myself to say like, okay, this is not happening to me. I'm making it happen. I'm taking that leap. And so I did. And yeah, that was it. And here I am. I studied New York, LA. I'm based in LA at the moment, where here I live and work, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
So tell me, let's go back a bit. Was it always a dream to enter Miss SA?
No. You see, when someone asks me, was that always like something you wanted to do or whatever, I wouldn't say that I lied awake in bed and dreaming of that moment, that wasn't it for me. I've always, for me, it's been a thing of try everything, do everything. If it meets your purpose in life and the direction you want to go, that's it. I don't think it was like the biggest dream I've ever had, in my life. No, but it did happen, and it was wonderful. It was really like, I can't say anything bad about it. I know some people would have experiences and things to share. It happened and it was great, and it laid a foundation and a platform for me, which I'm very grateful for.
So, and tell me, so your first audition was for, what did you say it was for rural? Or which one was it first?
Yeah, that
For
was
rural.
yeah.
And of course, you go for the audition and you get a call to say, hey, Tammy, are you on rural? I mean, what? How's the excitement? Who'd you phone first? What's happening in your life?
I, I was just thinking, don't mess this up. That's it. Like, don't. For me, I'm all safety first. I'm not worried about anything else. Just don't mess it up. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
extremely nervous, like even just starting off and doing that. But I knew that was something I wanted to do. I always knew I
yeah.
wanted to work in television. I always knew that I love working with people. I love carrying a message across. I love the entertainment industry. So yeah, but for me, mostly at that time, I remember I was a baby. Hey,
Yeah.
I was a baby. I was 22 at the time. It feels like we're talking about 4 different people if we're going through my career. Like I have to kind of like tap into, okay, what was I thinking back then? How and it has made me grow so much. I absolutely am so grateful for all the opportunities I got back home, because it really just it laid that foundation for me to know exactly who I am, what I want to do, where I want to take this thing. So yeah.
Okay, and give me of your acting career. Give me your highlights. I mean, give me the one highlight that stands out.
See that's again it's different. I came home to South Africa to shoot Babalas while I was on my OPT break for acting, which is something a lot of people don't know. Like even I was shooting Rude while I was already studying in New York, and I would come home and I would come and shoot a season or two on my break. So while
Wow.
the other people were taking vacations with their family when knife were closed, I would fly
Yeah.
home and I would shoot that. And that's
Wow.
the same thing that happened with shooting Babalas, which was my first feature film as an actress. And
Mm.
that was pretty cool, man. It was really great. Also, just because I like to combine the fact that I could be at home with my family and
Mm.
work.
Mm. Mm.
That was great.
Mm.
And so it gave me an excuse to come back, and then over here, I mean, some of the projects, geez, I right now we about 2-3 weeks ago we launched Silicon Caesar, which is a short film I just completed, directed by Chuck Griffith. It's now available on Amazon. Amazing group of people I worked with over there.
Mm.
There are 2 other projects that have not been released yet, so I'm not at liberty to speak about it, but when it does, I will.
Mm.
But every single project I've done has been so significant for me in a way, because you're just so grateful to be working, you know.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
really so grateful. I think that because I've taken such an hiatus of from working, I was studying for 4 straight years, and I wasn't allowed to do that in the States. So I'm
Mm.
not allowed to, unless I have my OPT, I work in that field. And I
Mm.
elected to do my OPT in filmmaking right after I graduated, to focus only on filmmaking, because I really wanted to go. I'd done really well with my short films over here. We won like numerous festivals, and it was gaining traction. And I really just wanted to get my foot in the door and start working. And I worked in various positions. So from production managing to producing, to ADing. No job was too big or too small, and that's basically how it
Mm.
works, especially in smaller budget films and
Mm.
in the indie film industry. So you basically just do whatever you can, and I was so grateful for it. I was like, yeah, man, I'm sweeping the floors over here, I'm taking out the trash while I'm working. But yeah, but that's great, because some of these films like that I've worked on, I remember I got I got engaged the weekend I got engaged. The evening I got engaged, and at like the next day I went on an overnight shoot, and it was
Yes.
focusing on Black Lives Matter and about
Mm.
police brutality. That was the
Mm.
theme of the short that I was ADing.
Mm.
And I was just like, yeah, man, here we are downtown. We've got this whole street closed off us, and I just got engaged, and it's amazing. And the same thing, like after we got married, I also got stuck in I got stuck in Idlewild, with my friend Heidi. I was production manager on that project called The Farm, and it was just horrible. The circumstances were horrible. The project was great to work on, but it was really like the 1 minute it's snowing and there are snakes and showers are limited and we're all like communal living in this little cabin in the middle of nowhere. That was crazy. But yeah, I remember things like that. I remember also just my husband being very supportive of that. So he's always been, you know, okay, we've got to do this, you've got to do this, let's go. So yeah.
Tell me, girl from Paarl in LA, studying film director at New York Film Academy. How did you get there? I mean, how do you get there?
Well, look, you've got to. I've had to make sacrifices. I've had to leave the life and the lifestyle I knew back home behind. Let alone the people that I love. You know, thank goodness they can't get rid of me because I'm like constantly calling and stuff like that. But I've had to I've had to sell everything I have. I've had to make the loans that that have to be repaid. I've had to do that for something that I knew I wanted. And yeah, sorry, kom nou weer email. Yeah, and I just think where there's a will, there's a way, man. Where there's a will, there's a way. For me, it wasn't an optional thing. I'd really been thinking about it. Like, people think you just kind of decide to do something like this overnight. It's not. I'd been thinking about it for a very, very long time. If I didn't articulate it loudly, I also had every intention of coming back home after graduating, because it's also important. And I will do various projects in South Africa. I have no doubt about that. And some of them are in the pipeline, which, yeah, it's hard to talk about now. But once you're here and you're presented with certain opportunities and you can really lay a foundation and carve out a career, it does change the game a bit. And that's exactly what it did for me. But I think, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, and I mean, studying at the New York Film Academy and getting your degree, does that make a big difference for your career?
Yeah, look, for all the jobs I've applied for, big or small, and everything I've done, nobody's ever asked me for my degree, but to ask me to present my certificate or whatever. For me, it wasn't about that. For me, it was about the skill set and the fact that it was so hands-on. It had a really practical approach to filmmaking, which means you walked in there and it was from day one, apart from having to do all of the academic sides in order to, complete your degree, all of that, you do your college level math, you do absolutely everything, but you're also shooting several projects while you're doing that. And you're also learning about the history of filmmaking. You're learning about editing, you're learning about lighting, you're learning about compositions, writing, which was key. It's such a blessing to have the time to have somebody be able to review and critique your work. I'm a big fan of that. Criticism for me is always great. I leave my feelings at the door. So that was the way I learned, the way I could grow. And that's what I came here for. I wanted the skill set, not to please anybody else or to prove anything else. I wanted to advance my skill as a filmmaker and as an actress. And I got that opportunity.
Nice.
And I'm still not done. That's the beautiful part. Right now I feel like this itch, okay, so what's next? How am I gonna approach this right now? Because people always they can say things like, oh, you said why are you leaving? Why did you want to go there? Wasn't it great back home? Yes, it was fantastic. But you have a whole life to live and you have a whole responsibility to yourself as well, as a person, to go out there, to see what's out there, to learn. And it's okay, if it doesn't work out, that's fine. And if it does, amazing. But you've got to try new things and you've consistently got to push boundaries and see where, find your niche.
Yeah. Tell me, but how's the entertainment industry in South Africa versus entertainment industry in LA? I mean, what is the big difference?
I've had I'm so grateful for the industry I worked in South Africa. I think in my specific case, I don't generalize for everybody else. I had already built a name for myself. I had already, people knew my work. I was already on television over there. So it became inherently hard to try and progress into a different direction. I think at that time when I was there, I felt like I needed to go and be anonymous somewhere else and kind of figure it out. So that it's not like people are now doing this or watching your movies or not watching your movies because you are Tammy-Anne from Rue or All Access or that model or whatever. So I wanted that. I don't know, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, I would just, and I'm so grateful for the opportunities that have come my way. I think that for me was the fundamental difference, because then I could compete on a level where, okay, now it's me, my skill set. Nobody knows who or what I am, and it's great. And I love that. I thrived in that environment. I didn't ask for my life took a turn at a very young age. So I constantly felt like things were happening for me or happening to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, before you know it, so now this is happening. Like, never, if you ask me, never, ever, ever would I think, there I am in Malaysia on a beach, shooting Sports Illustrated. Like, never would I view myself as, like, even remotely competent or capable enough to do that. And it happened. And even with South Africa, you don't think of things like that, like actually literally see yourself in those positions. Or then hosting a cooking show. I mean, seriously, cooking, let's just put things into perspective. While someone's recording you or whatever, and it kind of helped. But you have to show up. You kind of have to show up for those opportunities and be ready. And I wanted to be ready for the next opportunity. I wanted to kind of like come here, study, focus only on that, because I did so many different things. I mean, if I was hosting, I was modeling, I was emceeing, I was trying to start up businesses. I was doing various things at the same time. So it becomes a little chaotic. And there's a lot of noise in your head. And I wanted to streamline and lay my focus in one direction for a while. And kind of, I'm very happy I did so.
Are you living your dream?
I think so.
Nice.
That's also a tough one, because you never know. Like, tomorrow I wake up with a new plan. I love what I do here. I love the industry. I'm so excited to get back to work like everybody else. And I think we're entering like an entire new phase of this industry. And so many changes, so many necessary changes are happening. It's great. And so I'm really looking forward to the future and just taking the bull by the horns and like really going for it over here. I've been in the States for 9 years. And I've been studying and like trying to get practical training over here for most of that time. So to be able to like get your foot in the door with the industry has been the most rewarding thing for me. Like, I remember I've never earned that little money on a set, like going to work, as I have in the film industry, ever. Like, but it's like the proudest. Sometimes it's like that's a proud moment, man. That was like because, and then when you see a project come to life and you see it out there, and you know the manpower it took and how people had to come together. There's a great camaraderie on a film set. I think that if everybody knows their role and plays their part, that's always been the greatest part. And also just meeting different people from all walks of life. That's the best part of America. I think America is at its greatest when it celebrates its diversity, and the film industry does that for me. So I'm always grateful, like, to be on sets and having met different people, and that's the cool thing. Like, when you look at the end result.
Yeah. How has lockdown impacted you? And I mean, how's America under lockdown? I see you guys are leading the pack.
We are leading. Yes, we win, right? We win. But we won that one. But also, it was scary. It is still scary. It's still very much a real problem. And I know I say this as I just mentioned the protesting and all of that. Although, you know, racism is equally dangerous a virus as God, any pandemic. Let's just face facts there. It was really great for me to shut down, to like take a pause. I mean, I didn't have a choice. Let's face facts. I didn't really have a choice. Nobody did. It was scary. And then you start to embrace it. Like I was able to like do things I don't normally do. And my family and I have never been closer over here. You know, you kind of use the time for quality time. That was the good outcome over there. Just, yeah. And then there was this time when we ran out of flour and ran out of yeast, which was really problematic. You know, like make a roti or something. I don't know. But yeah, I can't. I mean, there's so many people have so much to complain about. Lockdown was not one of the things that I'm gonna like moan. You know, like I needed a haircut for a long time, even before we went on lockdown. I just didn't prioritize that, so that's my fault.
Yeah, why do you think I'm wearing a cap? Because the barbers are still closed here in South Africa.
I look at this. I don't think I don't know. I'm serious tuning up by the time we go back. But yeah, look, you always have to look at how lucky you are. At least we have our health, right? At least we have our health, and it was scary there for a hot minute about just having to navigate your way through this normal, and we're still gonna have to going back to work, like all the protocols that are being put in place. Even in our industry, but at least now we're having the conversation. You know, I see like the light at the end of the tunnel. Now you're going back slowly, and people are kind of figuring out ways for us to make this. I mean, we as human beings are very resilient. We surprise ourselves sometimes when we're not protesting to get haircuts or, you know, not wear a mask, which is ridiculous. But anyway, yeah. It wasn't so bad. I think I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about lockdown.
That's good. That's good. Tammy, so I've got 10 questions for you quickly. Get to know Tammy a bit better. Okay, hopefully I'll try and stop them at 13. I just tell people 10, but they're actually at 13 or 14. Supper with 3 people, they could be dead or alive.
Nelson Mandela.
Cool.
I did have lunch with him many moons ago, but yeah, that would be great. I feel like I've answered this question 1,000 times, so I'm going to try and keep it different. Oprah Winfrey, Kobe Bryant.
Okay. What would you ask Nelson Mandela, just by the way? What's your question? Okay. Like, what question would you ask Nelson Mandela? Just like,
help us. What would you say?
Okay.
What would you do? Okay. Come on, help us. Speak out. Like, I mean, I love the man to death, and I think that there would be it's not even questions. It would just be to listen, and especially in this critical moment that the US is going through right now. You know, just to have those words of wisdom. It would be great to get his insights on it. Yeah. You know. Yeah. I know that's a political platform. That's why I'm like,
if you had to be in a movie alongside any actress and any actor, who would they be?
Okay, I love Tandy Newton. I love Moss, Elizabeth Moss, man. She's a firecracker.
Actor?
I'm an actor opposite Ian Roberts, and I loved it because he's just a legend. Male actor. Oh, what's the guy from A Marriage Story? His name escapes me. I just hit a blank.
Okay, we'll come back to you. If it's really important in your life, we'll come back to you. If you could play any instrument in any band, which instrument would it be, and in which band would you be playing?
Can I just be like I'd probably want to play like the piano while
Nice.
John Legend sings.
Okay.
Or yeah.
Nice. What series? What series are we watching? Are we binge watching? And what should everybody be watching?
Mrs. America has been great. I mean, everybody's watched the Handmaid's Tale, right? I'm like, I still found people who they haven't watched it.
Yeah.
But Handmaid's Tale was just brilliant.
Okay.
Brilliant. But that's old. So, but some people haven't used the time in lockdown productively to watch that series. And also, Mrs. America was the last one I finished, and I loved it. It's
Okay, good.
Deals with the women's liberation movement and what else? Movies. We've seen so much during lockdown. I actually mentioned this before. I watched The Invisible Man. Was the last scary movie I watched. Elizabeth Moss. She's just great. Probably also what I did, I watched a lot of older films because I had the time on my hands. So, like different classics have been great. I ended up, what did we do? I was in Citizen Kane. It was, God, I can't even, The Host.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Various movies like that I've watched, but if I had to say series, Mrs. America or Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
I'll check those out.
And what's the last movie you cried in?
I do that frequently. So
okay. Okay.
I do that frequently. So
okay.
That's the top. Yeah. Emotional. I try to avoid the tear jerkers because when I watch films now, it's to avoid the news. Because I tell you, myself, we were mortified by what we were seeing on the news. And so everything, like from George Floyd's memorial to just the stories that are breaking and the conversations that are being had and the way you're talking about, nothing is sadder than real life at the moment, like with the circumstances of real life and what has happened, and it's playing off like a movie on your screen. So, but yeah, it doesn't take much for me to like, I have a moment there. I just can't remember the last emotionally gripping film I watched because I was trying to avoid like the somber feelings. I use film to escape as opposed to getting more into it because it's just crazy what you see on the news these days.
Yeah, no, 100%. What did you tell your 20-year-old self?
Oh, do we have enough time? I have so much that I would want to tell her, like, but more importantly, it's just don't be afraid and don't waste time. Don't be afraid and don't waste time. Like, I was always the type of person I take life very seriously. And I put a lot of pressure on myself consistently. So I would have just like wanted to advise myself, breathe, relax, and enjoy the moment, Sometimes I when in my youth, I would be in another country, not sightseeing, like waiting for my next shoot, sitting in my hotel room. And it was amazing to be able to travel. And I got there business class in a fancy hotel. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I wish I was home having a braai with my family, I because I was just very sheltered and I was so much younger then. And I would have embraced more of the moments. And I think a lot has to do with us being afraid or being not so sure. Is this the right thing? And I really wanted to make that active change within my life to say, this is not happening to me. I'm making it happen. I'm making it happen. I'm doing this right now. And that's just been like a philosophy that I've tried to follow, but it's tough. It's tough to do it. And, but yeah, I got loads more advice for her, but that's probably the longest part.
Okay, cool. A pinch myself moment where you thought, oh, Tammy, this is really happening to me.
Oh, pinch myself moment. There were many of those. I would say like having lunch with Nelson Mandela was a pinch myself moment. But again, I was so young, and the gravity of it, doesn't really hit you. Over here, I think that like having completed a project, like especially when it's your own films, like just getting the recognition for it, or getting into my first festival. Like I just remember like my Facebook blowing up with my crew, like just commenting and loving the moment that this baby that we had created, just got into Palm Springs. That was like a moment where I was just, wow, okay, this is great. I mean, it's not the reason you make movies, but it's amazing when it does happen. You get the recognition for it, and someone says like something you wrote and something you created, we found value in that, and we thought that was great. So that's kind of an aha moment where, yeah, for me.
Cool.
Also, when I got married, like I eloped, and I eloped, and the next minute I went on this beach, this beautiful beach, and it was just, that was a surreal moment for me, just because I felt like, wow, this is the most grown-up thing I've ever done in my whole life. Now I'm actually responsible for this person for the rest of my life as
well. Give me your fondest childhood memory.
Oh, there were so many again. It would probably involve my brother, because he was terrible child. And we were talking about this the other day because I just got a bike, right? And I remember we were back still living in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
In Paarl, and we would have like these races down the streets. We'd like assemble people in the streets, and I had this pink BMX, brand new. I had gold shoes and this beautiful sundress, and I came out with my BMX, and I'm gonna I'm the next one up. I'm the challenger, right? To be the champion of this street race with my bike. And we started, and I was going, and I just put everything in it. I was fit. I was always active as a child. We were racing, and then I was winning. This is a lesson about your ego, definitely. And I just like let go of the bars, and I raised my hands to go like celebrate my win. And the bike just slid. I was literally like sailing on the tar. Like my chin was gone, my knees were gone, my arms, blah, blah, blah. My brother, I just looked up, I was like, help me. He's shaking his head. He's like, oh my, this is so embarrassing. He just walks inside. He leaves me there. My mother had to come out. Like, everyone's coming, niemand help your sister. She just left. So while we're teaching Wolf, my stepson, to ride his bike, this memory came up, and I remember Tom Ross was texting. He's like, Cyrus, be very careful. She's very competitive about the cycling thing. You're gonna have to end up buying her a bike. And then eventually I got a bike. So now we're like, this is the thing we do, like to keep active during quarantine. That's probably one of my fondest memories. It is a painful, fond memory, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Superpower and why?
Oh, now that I was talking about the Invisible Man movie, and maybe to be invisible would be great. Cool. Just to, you kind of understand people. You if you could be a fly on the wall in all the conversations they have and how they live their lives and things like that, you could learn a lot. So maybe to be invisible.
Yeah. Mine was at the stage to be able to read minds, but I've changed it now. I want to be able to speak to animals.
Why? Tell me. Just because you're an animal lover?
Yeah, I just like when a dog barks. I want to know, why is he barking? I mean, what's up? Why? You're sitting next to me. You're sitting next to me.
Animals, I think, are very in tune with reading us as well as people. Like my dog is always, which I had to leave behind with my parents, and now my mother has claimed ownership of that dog. But yeah, dogs are very perceptive, and they're like just just beautiful creatures, man. So they probably can read minds. They know, they're so in tune with your feelings.
Yeah. So if you had a billboard up in Paarl Main Road and people have to drive past this billboard every morning, what do you want to tell the world? So your face is there, there's a speech bubble, Tammy-Anne, and it's like, what do you want to tell the world every day?
Be kind. Be kind. Just be kind. Everybody's going through their own stuff, like COVID-19 exposed a lot of issues in society, not only just in terms of inequality and poverty and just people like trying to put their focus on where it should be and what's important in life. And just, it was like this huge wake-up call, I think. This huge paradigm shift of like what's really important. And it has sparked so many different things. It has exposed us at our most vulnerable. And also at the same time, it's brought up I've had so many aha moments, speaking of during this period, where I was just so heartened. It was so amazing to see the goodness and the kindness of people, just like, helping those in need, being present, listening to someone's problems, people checking in on each other. Are you okay? Do you need anything? What can I do? The same way this thing is shifting right now with the Black Lives Matter protests. The Black community is saying, we need something. We need your help. Don't ignore us. It has nothing to do with invalidating anybody else's life. There's no need to suppress that message. It is nothing to do with taking anything away. It's asking for equality. It's asking for the same. It's asking for the basic human right to not be brutalized by the police, to not have that happen. You're not asking for anything else. And regardless of who or what George Floyd was, I don't even want to see that online anymore. Like, people have certain opinions, and it's usually very religious people who have Bible verses quoted on their Facebook pages that are just shaming this man in death. Be kind, because no matter what he did, it still does not make a difference that he died that way. It was horrible. Horrible, inhumane, brutal. And he's not the only one. And we all know that. So it's not taking anything away. And I think that if you had to compress that or summarize it, just be kind, man. Be kind. You lose nothing. You gain everything. You don't lose anything.
No, 100%.
Wat is daai gesegde? Jou liggie gaan nie helderder skyn as jy iemand anders in wil uitsit. You're not, it doesn't dim your light, brighten your light.
Yeah. So be kind.
Be kind. Be kind.
Yeah. Okay, 2 more. So, who's your inspiration? Okay, I can make it 4. Who's your inspiration? Who's the person you look up to?
Oh, my parents. I think my husband is behind the camera and he's saying, me. I should have said, be humble. Should have been my slogan. Anyway. Probably my parents, man. My parents, like, it's hands down. I mean, there's so many people who inspire you and who really have, I mean, my educators, the people that raised me, there's people in my community, like I was really blessed. And especially in Paarl, and I hope the kids in Paarl, they do realize that we are blessed with great community leaders. And they've always had my back and have been supportive. But my parents just, I mean, everything that the important things that I needed to know, I think I got from them. They're like my heroes, and they've just always been there, like, through everything I've gone through. And I'm pretty sure they didn't want me to get on a plane and leave. I'm pretty sure, but they would never ever say that, because they knew it was in my best interest. And they were unselfish in that regard. And they prioritized family above everything else. So it would have to be them.
Cool, man. And lastly, you are in the town hall, Paarl town hall. There are young girls all in front, 100 of them. And they say, Auntie Tammy, give us some advice. We also want to be as successful as you, follow our dreams. What you going to tell all these young girls sitting there looking at you with their eyes open or wide and say, Auntie Tammy, give us some advice.
Work first. Be your auntie, because I'm not. I just became an auntie this year. No, last year.
Okay.
She's 1 year older. She's a 1 year old, and I haven't even met my niece yet in person, so that's bad. But COVID-19.
Yeah.
But I would say work hard, study hard, educate yourself, empower yourself, go for it. Be the best in your group always, and build each other up. Don't break each other down. That's the most vital lesson in our communities that we need to understand. We need to support each other. We need to support our youth and push them. Their dreams are our dreams. They make the world better. And I see it over here right now. I'm excited for this place because their youth, the youngsters are the ones, the people that are protesting, they're all under 30. They're all coming out and that makes me very proud. So for any young kid in Paarl, just empower yourself, educate yourself, work hard consistently, keep your eye on the ball, don't get distracted by all the other stuff, stay in school, don't do drugs. Yeah.
I kind of,
because I stole that from somewhere, but yeah.
I kind of like, I think it was in South Africa this year, last year. They had this hashtag take up space. I don't know if you saw it here in South
Take up
Africa.
space. Yes, it was
Yeah,
powerful.
it is such a, yeah, it's like such a powerful, means so much.
Yes, and how do you do that? All of the previous things just mentioned, that is how you take up space, and you do it correctly. Your voice becomes so much more powerful once you empower yourself. You have to. It's not what your mommy did. It's not what your daddy did. It's not what they didn't do for you. We've got to make it happen. Our youth needs to make it happen, and we, the older ones, need to support them. We need to be there for them. We need to push them, build them up, don't break them down.
Jeez, Tammy, I feel like I want to take over the world after that motivational speech you gave us. I also have a dream of sending up spaceships all the way to space. Madam, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your time. It was really, really exciting. I like the energy. It's really, I really love it. I really love it. Thank you so much.
It's a new day. It's great. It's great. We must be excited. Thanks for the work you do, because I believe this is your platform, basically, you know, where you're basically celebrating people in your community. And I think that's wonderful. It's so easy to say the bad things. It's so much more exciting, right? To like focus on the bad and all of that, instead of focusing on what people have done right and what people are good at. And so good for you, man.
Thanks, madam. Thanks so much.
You're well done.
Tell me something, just last question. What's the big dream?
There are so many. There really are so many. I want to probably complete my next screenplay and make a success of that. That's one of them. I want to have a baby. I feel like, you know, maybe that'll be like the second most grown-up thing I've done.
Is your husband still behind the camera when you're saying this?
He's sitting there, yeah. He's now just like smiling softly. Like, he stopped dancing for a while, and I'm just like nodding. Okay, but and that's the thing. Like with me, I kind of like have to go with. I used to be a lot. This is my 4-year plan. This is how it's gonna work. This is how it's gonna go. Things like that. And as you grow older, you start thinking, let things happen, let things go. You know. At the same time, I have productions lined up for when we go back, and I'm also having all these conflicting ideas. Like, okay, but I do really want to just, funny enough, take the time out to have a baby. After we just had a COVID-19 timeout for 3 months, and it was long. I don't know. That's one of them. There's so many plans, like so many things I want to be able to achieve. I want to continue my studies in some other direction. I'll figure that out. There are many things, man. Life is a marathon, not a sprint, nah? It's a marathon, not a sprint. And as we change as people, our dreams and our visions, they also change. So you ask me this in a month from now, maybe given all the things that have happened. Maybe my focus will be something different. You know, maybe the next project will have more to do with current circumstances now than it has to do with the theme I've selected to go with. So let's see. But yeah, dreams I have. They're just too many.
Cool. Dream big. So madam, thank you so much for your time. All the best with your future filmmaking and baby making. And wish you all the best. Thank you so much for this conversation. It was really, really nice.
Thank you, Miles, and send my love to the family.
I will. Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe.
We're not allowed to hug. Cyril said no more hugs. One kiss and hug only.
But it's a virtual hug, man. Virtual hug.
See you, madam. Nice speaking to you. Keep well.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you. Bye. Yes, guys. So that was Tammy-Anne Fortuin. Thank you so much for joining in. And remember, keep safe. It's still lockdown level 3. So yeah, keep safe and thanks for joining in. Goodbye.